And hello from Rhode Island College, where the Lincoln Lions and the Broncos of Burrillville are about to do battle in the Division II Girls Soccer Final. Alongside my broadcast partner, Mike Mancuso, I'm Mike Rubin. And what a game we have for us, for you in store this afternoon as the Lions, unbeaten, take on a Broncos squad that has advanced out of the 3 seed. Mike, should be a terrific match.
Yeah, it really should be. It's a rematch of a game played on September 24th, a 2-1 victory for Lincoln over these same Burrillville Broncos. The Lions coming into this one 12-0-2 in Interscholastic League play, 14-0-2 overall on the season. Burrillville at 10-3-1 in the Interscholastic League and 12-4-1 overall.
We'll have the first half call when we return to the campus of Rhode Island College. First half call, Burrillville, Lincoln, the Division II title on the line, and it's next here on Cox Sports. Lincoln Lions and the Burrillville Broncos in the Division II championship. Rhode Island Interscholastic League soccer tournament presented by University Orthopedics. Alongside Mike Mancuso, I'm Mike Rubin, and the Lions unbeaten this season. Burrillville advancing to this title game with a victory over Pilgrim, I believe, in the semifinals, and they will don the road blues. Lincoln will be in the home whites, and really the story of this one is as much about players on the pitch as it is one of the players who is not, Mike.
Yeah, you got to really feel bad for the senior netminder for Lincoln, Mike, and Lauren Herview, who injured her knee, had a dislocated kneecap in the last practice before the semifinal game. So she is out, unavailable. She's got the crutches on the bench today. In her place, they turn to a freshman in Gianna Yasofano.
Starting lineups first for Burrillville. We'll round them down numerically. Sydney Blais, Michaela Messier, Isis Van Putten, Taylor Ross, Catherine Antonello, Chelsea Almeida, Rachel Dorado, Samantha Liberty, Victoria Libby, Samantha England, and Caitlin Libby, all in front of goaltender Catherine Keeble, who watches the ball sail to her left out of bounds. Mike, for the red, white, and blue.
Yeah, for the number one seeded Lions will be Delaney Maxell, Maya LaFleur, Serena Ballone, Emma Abdallah, Faith Fernandez, Lauren Christo, Kristen Redding, Haley Jerry, Aaron Gannon, Elizabeth Young, and they're all playing in front of the freshman netminder, Yana Yasofano.
Lincoln's head coach, Chris Allen, Burrillville's Amy Cardone. Both teams looking for a first in their school's history. Neither team has ever won a Division II championship. So either way, we're going to see some history made here at Rhode Island College. And Mike, talking about the present day, not so much the past or the future, Mother Nature not really cooperating all that much in terms of game time temps.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit chilly out there, probably in the 40s, if not the high 30s at this point. That's all due mostly to a steady wind and a lot of cloud cover here in Providence today. The wind definitely a factor earlier today in the girls' Division I championship game, won by LaSalle, 1-0 on a free kick. And you talk about a little bit of the history of these two teams playing in championship games at the D2 level. Both have appeared twice before, but both lost those two games as Burrillville fell to Pontiganset in 96 and Coventry in 97, whereas Lincoln fell to Exeter West Greenwich in both 2010 and 2011.
A great ball played to the near side of the box. The shot is deflected. It was Catherine Antonello who was left alone. The defense able to slide over, and we'll have a corner kick. Burrillville's wearing their road blues. Lincoln in the home whites as the top seed. Stepping up to take the corner kick for the Bronx will be Victoria Libby, one of the captains. And again, the breeze is blowing left to right, so at the backs of the Lions.
And keep an eye on Taylor Ross, the owner of 20 goals and 13 assists for these Broncos, one of the main targets up top for Burrillville.
That header came skipping across, and it'll be reset by Burrillville. Ball chipped off a leg and will roll to the near side. Unable to track it down was Delaney Maxell, and it'll be a throw-in for Burrillville.
You did talk a little bit about the weather, Mike, with all the wind. At least the rain has stopped. It started to pick up towards the end of the D1 final, but that has since ended here in Providence.
Play on called as the ball glanced off of an arm, and another throw-in. give these girls credit. You don't see too many of them wearing gloves or leggings. I went to a boys playoff game yesterday, same day as the Rhode Island championships, and at one point there were 22 guys on the field, 20 field players obviously, and about 17 of them had the gloves on.
Wow.
Yeah, 17 gloves. I know in my day, and certainly in yours, our coaches wouldn't have let us put leggings on.
Yeah, I can't say that we would have seen too many players wearing any of that kind of gear.
Antonello will take another corner kick for Burrillville from the near side. She has the left foot line up here and kicks it low. It bounces, curled toward the top, and turned, unable to get the shot off was Libby. That shot driven up and over the top of Iasafano. Iasafano, just a freshman. You'll take a look in between the pipes there. She's wearing the purple.
Purple tie-dye. A little different type of goalie kit out there for Iasafano. And the one thing, if you're Burrillville, obviously no secret the size of Iasafano in between the pipes. A little bit shorter than most netminders, so you got to believe they'll be aiming for that top portion of the net. It'll be much more difficult for her to cover that area of the goal.
Having coached some goaltenders who, over the years, Mike, tended to play big, to make themselves bigger as the ball is played through. Ball played through and a collision as the goaltender sneaking out got a piece of, I think it was played through for Reading. And a nice hustle play by Catherine Keeble. That ball played through again. They'll say onside. Tracking the ball down is Maya LaFleur, and another corner kick as recovering back was Michaela Messier. But Reading and Keeble, a big collision.
Yeah, it was a great through ball that was played for Reading, and credit Keeble for coming way off her line to meet Reading right at the top of the box. As we await this corner kick now from the near side, Erin Gannon, one of the co-captains of this Lions squad.
The corner is turned. Looked like it deflected off a hip. It did, in fact, hit off of Caitlin Libby. And to go back and finish the thought, if you are, well, they're going to say goal kick. I thought it hit off of Libby, but it's going to be a goal kick coming out. If you're a smaller goaltender, you tend to play a little more aggressively off the line, Mike, because you're going to have to adjust angles and try and track it down before that shot gets high.
Yeah, talk about aggressive, Mike. She's already outside of the arc of the 18. Almost like a deep sweeper for the Lions.
Antonello out across midfield. It'll be brought back down. Taylor Ross juggles, turns back, continues to juggle the ball, and now turns it off far side, and there's Iasafano coming off her line and picks it up into the 6th minute of the match. No score, Lincoln, Burrillville, and
yeah, it looks like Victoria Libby had taken a shot to the face earlier, and she's going to have to come off the field there and be replaced. And always a tough situation if you're the sub coming on with really no chance to warm up at all. Looks like that might be Samantha England checking in, a freshman midfielder. Does have a goal and an assist in the playoffs. Both of those in the quarterfinal 6-0 win over Westerly.
Ball playing through, and again, Iasafano there. Ball punted away and turned. Reading plays it through, but Keeble will come off her line.
Yeah, very close to offsides that time, but Maya LaFleur able to hold up her run.
We'll have to keep an eye on this Burrillville line, Mike. Second time that Lincoln's been close. Ball punched forward, glanced off of Erin Gannon, and it'll be again played through. And Keeble will give it a touch. You can see the leaves blowing across the field on that far side. Again, the prevailing wind is gusting into the faces of the Burrillville Broncos. Ball played through. Here's Reading. Tries to get ahead to it, but back is Blais, and Keeble came off the line, didn't come up with the ball. Far side turned out of bounds, and it's going to be a Lincoln throw-in.
And again, you really can't discount the weather, Mike, as the wind significantly aiding the teams in the game played earlier today in that LaSalle game where whoever had the wind at their back was predominantly on the attack for most of that half or overtime session.
Corner kick as the England header is over the end line, and Lincoln's going to have a corner from the far side. Looks like it's Haley Jarry going to take it for the Lions. Doesn't waste much time, puts it into play. It curls out over the penalty stripe and bounces. It'll be picked up by Delaney Maxwell, near side, turns on the defender, tries to get a cross off, and it's a goal kick. I thought, Mike, that pretty obviously got deflected by Antonello, but
it certainly did look like it took a deflection.
That's what it looked like, but the AR was there, much closer to it than us, I presume. And
well, that we can say is fact.
That we can say is fact. And a throw in coming for the Broncos. The referees wearing the fire engine red. We don't see all that often.
I think it's one of the new kits out there. I think they've gone away from
yellow and
the fluorescent orange and black, the fluorescent yellow and black. They've kind of gone with a more solid color with some kind of striping on there, which I think looks a little bit sharper.
We've seen the lavender too.
And the fuchsia.
Near side, looking to cross. Ball comes across from Antonello, knocked down in the box, and Elizabeth Young transitioning for the Lions. Ahead for Delaney Maxwell, turned over. Antonello near side. Ball deflects off a foot. She'll keep after it near side. Cross and off of Emma Abdallah. And it'll be a throw-in for Burrillville.
Mike, I've kind of been keeping an eye on the freshman keeper, Gianna Iasifano, and she's doing a good job of controlling her defense out there, pointing out players to mark and really just keeping charge of her defensive line. Not easy to do sometimes as a freshman.
Ball bopped around by Libby, brought back down to feet. Turned by Samantha Liberty, tried to get through a defender. It comes out to Maxwell near side. Stepping up was Messier. Maxwell turns around her and will transition. Lincoln is way off.
Yeah, two players off that time as LaFleur and Redding had slipped behind the defense, so the offside trap working that time for the Broncos.
And it is a trap, Mike. They are holding the line and then stepping. It's a timing mechanism, obviously, between the 3 or 4 defenders who operate in it. Everybody has to be on the same page.
Yeah, you got to make sure your whole defensive line in sync. One player a foot or two back and can really throw it into chaos.
LaFleur and Libby out of bounds. Lincoln throw. Glances off ahead and trying to run it down comes LaFleur. Was jostled with Sydney Blais and goal kick the call. As we're already 10.5 gone here. First half, no score, Lincoln and Burrillville. The Lincoln boys played for the Division II championship and came up short against Tollgate.
Yeah, went full double overtime, nothing ending there, and it took a shootout for the Titans to win.
Little 1-2, Antonello from Ross, and it's turned over. Chasing back is Sydney Blais. Turns near side, finds Messier, and out of bounds off Messier for a Lincoln throw-in. They look around, tossed in, catch it on a bounce. Redding tried to turn, sent out. Here's Ross, switches fields for Van Putten. Nice ball, pushed ahead a little bit too far. Lauren Christo back for Lincoln, back to Van Putten far side. She tries to turn, little give and go with Serena Ballin there for Lincoln and running out of room. And a throw-in coming for the Lions. These teams not really going into a feeling out. They're definitely going at each other, Mike. And I think, in championship soccer, really tends to be, about 1, 2, maybe 3 opportunities. You don't get a ton at this level.
Right, especially, these are two teams pretty well matched up. Their earlier meeting, just a 2-1 decision in favor of the Lions as they got goals from Faith Fernandez and Maya LaFleur in that one. Able to find the back of the net for the Broncos in that first meeting was Cardone.
Deflection, and could be a foul. No, play on call. The ball bouncing through. Iasifano isn't going to get there because it doesn't roll all the way down. A nice cutback by Lincoln's defense. Hernandez out across midfield. Redding got a touch. Van Putten with a trip. And again, they say play on as the ball comes to Maxell. She'll cut back toward the box. Here comes Blais, and able to stick the ball, and Maxell lost her footing, sent away by Messier.
Yeah, good recovery by Delaney Maxell that time, or excuse me, by Sydney Blais to take down Maxell with a legal challenge inside the 18, and she just took the perfect angle there to make the play defensively. So we have another substitution. A couple of players checking out for Lincoln. Looks like they're going to take Redding and Maxell.
Ball thrown in. Turned back. And stuck by Erin Gannon. Trisha Katz, Trisha Katz, Meredith Walsh checking in for the Lions. There's Young in transition over to the far side. Van Putten back for Burrillville. Knocks it ahead, ball stopped. And coming back to the ball came Samantha Liberty. Tries to send Ross through. Fernandez turns it away. And Messier will let it run for a Burrillville throw-in to the 15th minute of the match. All knocked upfield, off ahead. Here comes the Lions, chasing it down. Blais again back as trying to track it was Brooke Morris was trying to make that run through for Lincoln. Nice little step over move by Gannon on the far side. Ball ends up on the foot of Chelsea Almeida. She knocks it away off of a Lion foot, and another throw for Burrillville. Turn, a stick. Van Putten, the kick. And a header comes lobbing out. Try a second touch, Will Liberty, but turns it over. And the ball is going to be sent. See if that one stays in. Making the run is LaFleur, and she's not going to track it down at all. Ball had a little too much on it. Burrillville will throw. Ball's going to be played up and over, but Keeble's going to be there. She's going to let it run for a goal kick.
Yeah, I can see the wind get a little bit of hold of that ball, but I think it was going to be a little bit too far in front of Brooke Morris. It was really the only possible target on the play.
Blais puts the ball down. She'll look to put it in play here on the goal kick and kicks that one toward the sideline. Wind knocked it down in a hurry. Pushed forward by Walsh. Good step to the ball by Libby. Ross comes back to it. Loses her footing. Dribbling around is Gannon. Tries to play it through for Walsh. And a throw-in.
Yeah, and if you're Lincoln, Mike, I think you'd really like to get at least one on the board here in the first half.
Well, they had their chance. A nice ball pushed through for Brooke Morris, but didn't make it all the way there. The defense there to bail out for Burrillville, and a throw-in coming for the home white-wearing Lincoln Lions.
Yeah, I mean, especially with the wind at their backs here in the first half, and with the diminutive Iasifano in net, could cause some problems in the second half, but Burrillville will have the wind at their back.
Van Putten ahead, and here comes Liberty with the Burrillville Broncos on the attack. Looked back towards center. Good recovery on the far side by the defense, and forced the issue, and Burrillville turns it over.
Yeah, Ballin checking all the way back that time to make the play for Lincoln, earning a throw-in for the Lions.
They will take the toss over the head of Van Putten. Turned on the flank. Lincoln slows things up. If it comes all the way through, that's offsides, but
if this one trails out, it's going to be a corner.
Yeah, that is a corner. They were trying to, I think they were trying to send Brooke Morris, and wisely decided not to. The other part of the play was still on. Sometimes you wonder, well, does the whole play get blown dead? Not necessarily. So good job by the official on the near side to keep the flag down. A corner kick for Lincoln.
Haley Jerry on the kick.
Trap down, Fernandez and Ross. Ross with a kick. It comes back out to Jerry. Her shot wide, and we'll have a goal kick. Coming out with about 22 to play here. Blais will set it up. And we'll have a goal kick for the Broncos. Collision, Van Putten goes down. They'll put that ball down as referee Rex Morris on the call.
Yeah, they're going to get Haley Jerry just a little bit too physical with Van Putten there near midfield, so really not too dangerous. Burrillville kicking into the wind here. On the kick will be Sydney Blais, junior defender.
Lofts it ahead. Touchback, Van Putten a miss hit. And out across midfield, Morris is on. Tries to get inside position. The ball bangs back by Libby, and Keeble has to play it. She played it right to one of the Lions, however, and on the ball, working up comes LaFleur, and had the ball come, yeah, she's offside. The flag is up.
Yeah, kind of, you need a little bit better situational awareness there to Brooke Morris, who was well offsides during that entire sequence. Needed to just hold up, let one of the defenders get in position, but either way, call made, and ball back in play.
Ball along that defensive line. Near side working upfield comes Meredith Walsh. Can she keep it alive? She did, but it then rolls out of bounds. Goal kick. With that, we'll take a timeout approaching the midpoint of the first half. No score here on Cox Sports. And welcome back as the ball's put back into play. We're approaching the midpoint of the first half. No score in this Division II championship. Alongside Mike Mancuso and our entire Cox Sports team, I'm Mike Rubin. And Mike, so far the first game has, the first half of this one has played kind of in ebbs and flows.
Yeah, I mean, both teams really struggling to get a bunch of shots on goal here in half number one, and you could tell, though, a little bit more advantage for Lincoln with that wind behind them, making life more difficult for the Broncos advancing the ball, although they do play it up into the 18 that time. A little header squirting off the side of Samantha Liberty's head, but Iasafano, the freshman netminder, able to pick it up and get the quick outlet going for Jerry.
On the flank, stepping up for Burrillville and knocking it away to Van Putten. Turn back. That's Almeida. Rolls one to Libby, bottom of the kickoff circle. Held it too long. Good check back by Brooke Morris, but the turnover will be played through. Morris and LaFleur are there, and now they'll get Morris again.
Yep, it was just by a hair, but certainly the right call. The official in the perfect position that time to make that call, raise the flag, is stepping just ahead was Brooke Morris when that ball was played.
Well, it's right in front of us. We had a pretty good angle, good line on it.
Again, you know, Burrillville's going to be playing with fire this entire game, like pulling that offside trap, and you can just see the speed that Lincoln has up top. So that's what they're trying to bank on, that Lincoln is going to be trying to use that speed to get past the defense, and if you pull up in the right time, you'll be good.
Ross drives a shot, deflected out. Ross with a touch. And the clear by Walsh will roll out of bounds. Messier there for Burrillville to take the throw. Tosses it in to Libby. Blais, and now back to Libby, who heads it forward. The step out to midfield. The touch. Messier knocks it forward. It clicks off of Antonello. Ross is there for Burrillville, looking to play it through for Liberty. She makes a run on it and a little poke at the ball by Lauren Christo. Van Putten far side, fights through Jerry, works back towards center, a collision, and the center referee called play on, and then I think the AR on the far side had a good look at it, and the collision with Van Putten, one of the Lions, went down.
Yeah, tough challenge there. Van Putten went to the slide and perhaps got the spikes up a little bit on, I believe it was Lauren Christo, who was still down on the play.
She's getting up, walking it off. They will put the ball down. We'll have a restart for the Lions. Burrillville huddling up, I think trying to talk a little bit about their shape in offensive transition, which has been
on pretty much making sure the defense is still all on the same page,
yeah.
because you're pulling that trap all game long. Got to be careful with these quick Lion forwards.
Ball knocked out toward midfield and sending Morris. Ball over the head of the defense. Morris tries to come up with the ball and is turned by Burrillville's Caitlin Libby out to midfield for Ross. Good first touch. Turns back, but is now on the double. Touched by Blais and pushed through by Walsh. A good run. Here's LaFleur. Picked up by Almeida. Able to turn. Takes the shot. Keeble the save. And Almeida a little slow getting up on that far side.
Yeah, she kind of went down a little awkwardly as she was trying to battle on the far side over there with, I believe it was LaFleur. And LaFleur shot turned aside by Keeble.
It's a great touch by LaFleur to turn back on the defender. Corner kick coming for the Lincoln Lions. Curls out toward the 6 where it's knocked down and awayed by Burrillville. Middle of the field. Cristo chips it back forward, but the hard pull by the Burrillville defense meant everybody there for Lincoln was offside. So Keeble with the ball. 16 to play first half. Scoreless. And the ball turned out of bounds off the leg, I think, of Haley Jarry. Throw in for Van Putten and Burrillville. Turn, middle of the field. Almeida on the flank. Tried to turn it back. I think she was trying to get it to Dorado. Step by Blais, bouncing ball. Messier and the ball chipped forward. Cristo on the ball. Another step, and the ball will run to Antonello, who loses the handle, and again sent forward by Dorado. Fernandez back for Lincoln. Cuts to the near side, takes some space, still with the ball, pushes it forward, trying to send a run for Meredith Walsh. And the only play for Libby was out of bounds. A good effort there by Fernandez.
Yeah, certainly was. And, sometimes you got to kick it out of bounds as the only safe play there. Don't want to put the rest of your defense in jeopardy. That's exactly what she did. And that gives Lincoln a chance to make a couple more substitutions.
Walsh and, is it Walsh
Looks
and
like Maxell.
Maxell. Yep, and Morris checks out. So, ball chipped over the top. Yasafano out. She'll punt it back out toward midfield. Pretty good kick. Has the wind at her back, though. Ball played through, and a little touch on it by Maxell, but she lost her footing. Messier had pressure coming, but played it out of bounds. Redding back into the game as well for the Lions. That one is played off the head of Young and now turned back by the Broncos. A good hustle play by Maxell. Plays it forward off the shin guard of Blais and another throw-in. 13:45 left here first half. Throw-in comes for Redding. She'll turn on the near side, looking to perhaps get a cross off. Forces the issue off of Libby, and we'll have a throw-in for Lincoln. On the ball, that's Young. Tosses it in. Burrillville plays it out of bounds. Maybe a little bit of a miss hit there by Antonello.
Yeah, I think she would like to try to clear that one up a little bit further up the field. Instead, it went off the side of her foot out of bounds for another Lincoln throw-in. This one will be taken by Abdallah.
She winds up, tosses it into the box, and a corner kick coming for the Lions as that one out of bounds off of Caitlin Libby.
And we have seen a couple of dangerous corner kicks out of the Lions so far today. Looks like Haley Jarry, who takes them from the far side, will also take it from the near side here. Burrillville dropping everybody except for
England.
Samantha Liberty.
Oh, Liberty, yep. Ball pushed wide, and it'll be a goal kick. off of one of the Lions. 12.5 to play here, first half. There's a look at Blais and Keeble. Blais will put the goal kick back in play.
Again, he's got to try to drive this ball and drive it a little lower because these little pop-ups, the wind is just going to have those hang up as she's barely able to get it out of the 18.
Oh, big collision, Redding and Blais. And her money's worth as here's Ross on the transition. Tries to push it ahead for Liberty. You saw the wind take that one away as it is really blowing out there. Ball played near side. Maxell's on, but the wind's going to take that one away.
Yeah, and again, that's why if you're Lincoln, you really want to try to bury one in the back of the net here in this first half because playing into it is going to be quite the challenge and will really give an advantage to the Broncos in the second half.
You want to keep it on the ground, too. A lot of these passes going in the air. Hard to really negotiate them with the wind as Antonello tries to play that through. Cristo back for Lincoln, plays it right into Liberty. The touch back for Ross. She dribbles, has some space. Good ball pushed ahead for England, for Liberty, who switches, shot, and Iasofano. The save. Liberty was able to pull the trigger. Had a little bit of space, Mike. Put a low, hard driving shot, and Iasofano with the best save of the game so far.
Yeah, maybe got a little bit nervous there. Didn't want to hold it any longer inside the 18. A little quick to pull the trigger that time was Samantha Liberty. And credit Iasofano sticking with it, making the save, putting the rebound out where Burrillville really couldn't get a good secondary attempt.
Maxell out of bounds off of one of the Bronx, and it'll be a goal kick. Change coming in for Lincoln as Via LaFleur checks out.
Megan Chatowski in. So first time we've seen her, they'll put her right up top at one of the striker positions alongside Redding. See what kind of speed she has. She'll be working against Almeida to begin with.
Cristo, just a sophomore in the center back position. Lincoln, in fact, with only 2 seniors on the field today. Redding and Blais battle. Chest trap, Liberty, and now the ball pushed to the near side. Maxell punches it forward. Can Redding get there? She's in a foot race with Blais. Comes up with the ball, turns, the cross. Keeble is there and gobbles it up.
Yeah, nice job by Keeble, recognizing that she had a chance to grab it, and she did, coming off her line. As challenging right for it was Megan Chatowski, who had just checked in.
Like the
rain
starting to pick up again, yeah.
Has gone away for most of this first half and starting to reappear here in the final 9.5 minutes.
A nice ball, Chatowski tries to get around Blais. Blais with the heel turnover, pumping the arms.
And a nice job by Blais to catch up,
yeah.
or else that would have been a corner kick, but instead sends it over the sideline. It'll be Lincoln throw.
We've seen a lot of speed up top for Lincoln, Mike, but Blais has been able to answer it step for step. As we're inside now, close to about 9 minutes left here in the half. Ball thrown in. It bounces in front of Redding off Blais, and another corner kick for Lincoln. It'll be their third of this first half.
Haley Jerry again, as they're actually going to make a substitution.
Yeah, Jerry is checking out.
Interesting.
And they're going to send, I think that's Erin Gannon over to take the corner now, as into the match again is Meredith Walsh. So Lincoln will attempt this corner from the far side, the wind gusting left to right. She'll have to put the ball back on the edge of the corner area. And here's the strike. It curls toward the 6, is up and over. Maxell just couldn't pull the trigger. She'll try and get the ball back on her foot. It deflects off of Antonello, and another corner for Lincoln.
Yeah, I mean, that was a pretty good corner kick for Erin Gannon, the only active captain out there for Lincoln today, as it took a couple of bounces right through the 18, but nobody able to get a foot on it. So we'll do it again from the near side. So much like Jerry, Gannon will take corners from both sides now with Jerry out of the game. Rain falling a little bit here in Providence.
Corner a little bit lower, but played back out. Gannon knocks it off Libby, and another corner. So they're coming in rapid fire here for the Lions, but haven't really been able to get them into the mixer per se. They've been outside the 6 and frequently.
Well, not a lot of
Not
shots
a lot
on
of
goal.
shot on goal, no.
Yeah. You know, the old bend but don't break defense here for the Broncos in the first half, and just trying to weather the literal storm.
That one comes bouncing in on Keeble, and there's a shot on goal for Reading as Keeble comes diving out and collapses on the ball. And she will now put it into play. Again, she'll be putting it into the breeze, so it punts out to about the bottom of the kickoff circle. Chitowski, Reading will chase this down, and as will Gannon, and again played out by the Broncos. 7 minutes remain here in the first half, scoreless. Gannon will take the throw for Lincoln, the 1 seed in this Division II tournament. Ball played down and turned. Tonello got a piece, and offsides is Maxell. As you saw the line step hard there, but a second or two before the ball was served. And a restart coming out.
And Lincoln trying to cap a perfect season, 14-0-2 overall coming into this one, and perhaps very happy not to see Exeter or West Greenwich on any of the lines for this bracket, as they had moved up to Division I this year after winning 3 straight D2 titles.
Knocked off Lincoln last year, I believe, in the final.
2011 and 2010.
Yeah. And that one runs for another goal kick. Tick down to 6 to play, first half. These two teams got here and had to wait for the Division I final to end. That one went double overtime. That one's chipped toward Keeble, who went to her knees, and then the ball kind of was caught in the wind there, Mike.
It was almost like a little knuckleball coming in, and that wind really kind of redirecting it at the last second as she kind of was falling down onto her knees, but most importantly for Burrillville, able to hang on to it.
Reading plays it through. Maxell near side, looking to cross, gets a little toe poke at it and out of bounds. Wasn't able to swing around the hips, Mike.
No, didn't get a great angle on it either, as trailing back on the play was Messier.
Sub coming back in for Lincoln. It looks like Reading will trot off. Not sure if that's LaFleur back in. Yep.
LaFleur.
So the rotation of players up top continues for head coach Christopher Allen. Ball played upfield, over ahead. Abdallah, or just a couple of seniors in the starting lineup for Lincoln. Blais turns and is able to get a left foot on the ball. Abdallah checking up to the ball, but Ross is there. Nice distribution, and here's Antonello. She bangs it toward center. Liberty there, and sent back out to Messier. She steps through, and Ross with the ball on her foot. She works right to left, and now looking back to the other flank, looking for Van Putten, I think, but it's awayed by the defense. Past Almeida for Chitowski. Chitowski working up that far side. Almeida trying to chase her back. Libby cuts over. Nice touch by Chitowski, but she needed to distribute. Blais was able to get there, and Lincoln will retreat on the ball. Christo. Little game of give and go with Ballin on that far side. Play on call. Looked like it be Van Putten on the ball for the Broncos. Sets it forward. Iasafano had committed early to it. She picks it up with, again, Samantha Liberty, the only player up there. The ball put high in the air. It comes off a hit. And again, we might have to ask folks at Rhode Island College, might have to turn the lights on here for the second game. Ball rolls all the way down to Keeble. She'll pick the ball up. We were under cloud cover here at Rhode Island College. Inside 3.5 to play in a scoreless first half. These two teams played to a 2-1 Lincoln victory in the regular season. Lincoln with only a couple of minor blemishes on their 16-game slate. 14-0-2, 12-0-2 in Interscholastic League play. Here's Ross. Tries to switch fields. It comes to Antonello. She has a couple defenders in front of her. Runs into Fernandez, who was the last player back for Lincoln, and she will away it. The wind is really snapping around out there as Libby is back. Turns. Messier coming back to the ball. It bounces and clears out. It actually just blew the cover clear off of the long triple jump pits.
Definitely a blustery fall day here.
Fortunately, no one's jumping tomorrow. I know as a former jumper and jumps coach, there's nothing worse than jumping into wet sand. But I don't think you got to worry about that this time of year. Final 2 minutes of the half. Time is kept on the field, so we'll keep an eye on the center referee.
Another substitution coming up for Lincoln. Maxell checks out.
And it looks like Walsh is back in.
Tough touch there from Victoria Libby. It'll give Lincoln the ball back. Deep in Burrillville territory here in the final 2 minutes of the first half.
Were you a good wind and rain player?
Yeah,
you seem like you would have been.
Of course. A little easier when in the defensive end, too.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot tougher sometimes for the attackers.
I played defense. I didn't mind the rain one bit. As the ball is going to be turned, Blais stepping up to Elizabeth Young. She distributes off, trying to stay onside at center. Here's Haley Jerry, the shot to score! Lincoln will get on the board. Jerry did a nice job of actually not passing the ball. And the Burrillville Broncos line falls victim to a terrific shot. It's 1-0 Lincoln.
Yeah, Haley Jerry recouping that magic he had in the semifinals, coming through with a 79th minute goal in that one. Comes through with a goal here late in the first half, her 14th of the season, 4th of the playoffs. And Haley Jerry gives Lincoln a 1-0 lead right before the break.
I watched Brooke Morris was putting her arm up asking for the ball. If they had gone there, Mike, she might have been off. So that's why I say, Jerry, that was the smart play to put it on frame.
Well, you know, she is the team's leading goal scorer on the season and proving again just why. And, you know, I've talked about it ad nauseum here, the importance of Lincoln getting one before the break with that wind at their back, because they're going to have a challenge here as Burrillville is going to be on the attack with the wind at their backs for the entire second half. And this rain's not going to make anything any easier for the freshman netminder, Gianna Yasafano.
Mother Nature has brought out the wind this weekend. It's been a factor in all the games that we've been part of as the ball is played for Antonello. Gets a little help of Fernandez again, last player back, and Antonello, as we say in hockey, loses an edge. Ball played out toward midfield, stuck by the Broncos. The transition, Antonello looks to redistribute back. It's a good idea, but too much on it. Looking for Victoria Libby on the flank. And again, keeping an eye on the center referee.
Yeah, they've got to be close here as that goal was already scored in the final 2 minutes. So
the ball tossed in, headed through, and bounds out to Blais. Midfield, she'll kick it forward. Ross trying to check to the ball. Maybe try to get one shot off, is held up by one of the Lions, but that'll take us into the half. So Lincoln strikes first. Haley Jerry, a goal in the final 2 minutes of our first stanza, and the Lincoln Lions lead Burrillville 1-0. We're back with second half action when we return to Rhode Island College here on Cox Sports. Second half about to get underway here between Lincoln and Burrillville. For our entire Cox Sports team and my broadcast partner, Mike Mancuso, I'm Mike Rubin. Great to have you with us as the conditions will play a part in this second half. And as Mike mentioned at the tail end of the first half, it was quite fortuitous for Lincoln to get on the board. They had the breeze at their back, and it was a finish with under 2 minutes to play that put the Lions with that one on the scoreboard.
Yeah, it was Haley Jerry able to convert from the top of the 18, a nice low shot, able to beat the netminder of the Broncos, Catherine Keeble, from range that time. And really nothing much Keeble could have done. She was in decent position. It was just a brilliant shot out of Haley Jerry to give the Lions the 1-0 lead, and something that they really needed to get on the board there, Mike, is, as you talked about, the conditions bordering on terrible out here. I mean, it is cold, it's windy, it's wet. Definitely not ideal for a championship game, but you know what? That's what both teams are going to have to deal with. Burrillville down a goal, but will have the wind at their back, and that has certainly given every team here that's played a significant advantage, including Lincoln in this first half today.
Well, you can't control the wind. You can't control the wet. What you can control is your run of play. And I think both coaches are going to be saying, keep the ball on the carpet. The wind at the backs of Burrillville means it's going to be sailing on them. And the other way, everything you try and put up in the air could be knocked down if you're a Lion.
Absolutely. And, I think one of the most key players out there for either team in the second half is going to be the freshman goalkeeper, Gianna Yasafano, who, again, has had to step in for the injured Lauren Herview, who was injured in the final practice before the semifinals, went down with a knee injury as she dislocated her kneecap on the bench with crutches today. You got to feel for the senior goalkeeper, but so far Yasafano with a clean sheet. We'll see if she can keep it that way.
On the near side is Redding for Lincoln, centering pass, the turn, the shot partially blocked, and awayed out by Caitlin Libby. If you're joining us late, Burrillville's in the Road Blues as the lower seed to advance. Lincoln, the number 1 seed, unbeaten this season. They're in the home whites. Redding trying to walk in on the near side of the box, and it deflects off of Almeida, who turned looking for the calls. She jostled for position with Redding. Corner kick coming for Lincoln from the near side. Put it right on the corner, and it'll be Jerry, the junior, with the strike. It's out toward the 6, knocked down, and awayed off of Maxell for the goal kick. But anytime a ball bounces around on the 6 as a defending or a goaltender,
that's where bad things happen if you're the defending team. And
no, not a good thing.
You want to get to that corner first and just clear it out.
Ball be put down, and Blais will send it on a line out off of one of her mates, and the turn, working through the middle of the field, came Rachel Dorado. Centering pass for Redding, and Blais will kick it out of bounds. Lincoln this season, I think last count allowed less than 10 goals all year long. One of the stouter defenses in the entire Interscholastic League. Jerry, the centering pass knocked down. The shot, pulling the trigger. Redding, it's deflected. Second effort shot. Deflects out of bounds. Goal kick, much to the chagrin of the Lions.
Well, you know what, Mike? Kind of surprising, but Burrillville looking very flat here in the opening minutes of the second half. And Lincoln trying to add an insurance goal here early on. We're just about not even 2.5 minutes into the second half, and already Lincoln has had a couple of pretty good chances going into the wind.
The turn, the cutback, that's LaFleur distributing to Jerry on the ball around the centering pass around Van Putten, trickles all the way through. Maxell, shoulder to shoulder with Messier, gets a cross-off, deflected, and a corner kick. And you're right, Mike. It looks like a little bit more zip in the side of the Lions.
Yeah, they certainly going in for the kill here are the Lions, as they're going to send Aaron Gannon, their lone captain of the day, with Herview sidelined with the injury. She'll take it from the far side.
It's a low-driven corner along the end line, and that's sent away. Throw in for Lincoln. And the rain falling, the breeze gusting left to right, which means it's at the backs of Burrillville, but you wouldn't know it by the way the first 3.5 minutes of this half. That play stays onside.
No, she was off.
Oh, now the flag's up. Okay.
Yeah, no, it was close, and Jerry can't believe it, but offsides seem to be the right call there.
Well, the two players at center were definitely off. I was following the line, and it seemed like the line where the other official is standing just off your view here, folks. You can't see it, but we can. It was the right call. Ross, her first touch of the half. Sent ahead, LaFleur, turning on Caitlin Libby. Little burst of speed on the far side, and she's going to run out of room. As I think Libby, Mike, just trailing step for step with her.
Yeah, just, Caitlin Libby that time just did not want LaFleur to be able to make that turn on the corner. Just kept her right on her hip, and eventually LaFleur playing it out of bounds for a goal kick.
About 5 minutes into, 4.5 actually, into the second half. 1-0 Lincoln out on top. Trying to bring one gold medal back to Lincoln High School. Yesterday, their boys falling in a shootout to the Titans at Tollgate. Ross, middle of the attacking third, drop pass back. They'll send it up the flank. Chasing back is Fernandez. Plays it out. Centering ball is going to be moved right to left by the Lions. It's out in front of LaFleur. She'll kick it forward. Blais gets a leg on it. Turn back to the near side, and she's off.
Offsides by a couple feet that time as the entire defensive line pushing up, leaving Kristen Redding all by herself and in an offsides position.
That's one of those dangerous spots, Mike. You're running out of room. You're getting closer to midfield. That's one of those spots where, you want your line to hold. I understand you play the trap, but you got to be careful.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're consistent. That's their style. That's what they're going to live and die with, and so far it's been on their side today.
Victoria Libby, centering pass, comes back to her foot off of Dorado and rolls all the way out to Blais at midfield. She'll put it back to Almeida. He has it stripped. The touch by Lincoln's Elizabeth Young is taken back by Almeida. She kicked it forward. Christo there. Van Putten. The turn, the stick, out of bounds. Burrillville the throw coming. 6 minutes gone, second half. 1-0, Lincoln on top. Ross from Liberty, and Fernandez aways it. Tried to keep it moving for Redding. It bounces back to Liberty, and that's going to be a handball. It came up off her forearm and allowed her to play it to her feet. So,
yeah, a distinct advantage gained by the arm that time. One of the easier calls you get to make as an official.
And some jostling for position between Redding and Almeida. This time they'll put the ball down for Burrillville. Blais will take the kick with the wind at her back. We'll see how far she's able to put it upfield. Puts it on a line for Ross. It's a good ball. Able to cut it back. The shot and score! What a finishing touch by Victoria Libby into the side netting from Ross, and we're tied at 1.
And Mike, we knew high shots could be a problem for Iasafano. That one perfectly placed over the outstretched arms of Iasafano, and all of a sudden we have a 1-0 game. And I was actually just getting ready to mention, when are they going to start trying to take some shots from the outside and really use that wind to their advantage? And there's a perfect example of it. Victoria Libby, sorry.
From Taylor Ross. Put it down in the books, folks. A 47th minute goal, and we are tied at 1 here in the second half. Like, it looked like a goal scorer's goal. It was a terrific shot.
And just, no hesitation, pulling the trigger when you need to at the top of the 18. And Victoria Libby, one of the captains of this Burrillville team, picks up her 6th goal of the season and first of the playoffs.
Well, that may bring to life the Broncos, who for the first 5 minutes of this half, I think we could say were definitely a little on the flat side. There's a throw in from Lincoln. Again, Lincoln allowing just, I think, 8 goals coming into today's game all season. Here's Redding up top. It kicks in on Keeble, who's at the 6.
Yeah, on the flip side there, Burrillville allowing 16 goals during the season. Has allowed just 1 in the playoffs, now 2 today after the goal from Jerry in the first half.
That punt is going to bounce through. Ross in a foot race with Christo. She turns to the near side, keeps it alive. No, it had already gone out. So Van Putten will take the throw. Tosses it in. It's over the head and kicked out Redding. Midfield, Libby. Back for Blais. She turns, kicks it up the near side and off of Jerry, who had the Lincoln goal. 1-1 game, ball thrown in for Ross. She's double teamed. Tried to cut back, lost the handle, and the AR says that's my call. It's off of a Lion. Tossed in for Van Putten. Tough throw from Liberty, and it glances off the shin, and they'll give it back to Lincoln.
Yeah, almost no chance there for Van Putten to make a play on it, as the throw coming in with way too much pace.
So here's Almeida looping one forward. Chest trap Ross has Liberty to her right, and it's away. Nice defensive battle there, and fanning on it was Serena Ballin, put under by Liberty, and it's going to be a Burrillville throw. And these last 2 minutes since the goal, Burrillville putting a little bit more pace to their game as Van Putten, a nice throw for the goal scorer, Libby. She turns, trying to pull the trigger, and is stood up by Christo, who aways it. Blais, bottom of the kickoff circle. It skipped past her with a touch for Messier. tries to track it down, plays the ball off far flank. It's turned and played off of one of the Lions. I believe it was Dalla. Yep. Ball thrown in. Boy, that's gonna head out of bounds in a hurry. And a goal kick coming out for Lincoln. 9 minutes gone plus here in the half number 2. Game tied at 1. Jerry, the goal for Lincoln in the closing minutes of the first half. And Victoria Libby, the senior co-captain for Burrillville, striking in the 7th minute of this second half. And out of bounds, it looked like it caught Libby's toe, and it did. Throw in taken by Almeida. Sends it up that far side. It's going to roll. Needed to get that a little bit more centrally. Might have had a run for Ross between the defenders.
And actually the rain seems to have subsided for now. The wind also dying down a little bit here. Lights on at the Rhode Island College Soccer Complex.
So fortunately for both teams, it was at its worst at the half, but here comes Ross, walks in the shot, and it's off the side of the net.
Wow, Ross with a golden opportunity. That's the play you want with it if you are a Burrillville fan. She has 20 goals on the year, but that time unable to beat Gianna Iacifano. Was going near post, but simply hit it off the side netting.
Iacifano was diving to that side as well, but I don't know if Ross had the rest of the goal with which to work. There was a defender.
It would have been a tough angle, too.
Here's Libby trying to fight through, the ball bouncing, the step, and Burrillville coming away with it, but stepping up. Nice play by Ballin, knocks it out of the near side off Messier, and check that off Almeida was Jerry's ball. The throw-in for Jerry, turns, Van Putten there for Burrillville. Nice touch for Liberty, centers it back for Van Putten, good ball movement out of Burrillville. The turn and a tough second touch, she lost the handle.
Well, she was indecisive, Mike. She was thinking shot, pass, couldn't make the decision, and instead lost it.
Libby working the ball, battles, coming away with it is Lincoln. The set ahead for Redding, who's run down by Almeida but keeps moving. Redding cutting back, and Almeida will knock it to the near side, as did Dorado, and they're going to get Jerry for, I think, a foul there. 11 and a half minutes gone here, winding down here in this second half. 1-1 score. And here's the throw. It's over the head of Jerry and over the head of Ballin to Ross. Ross stalls the ball and gets the benefit of the throw. I think they thought it was off. I thought it was off of Ross myself.
It certainly looked that way, but sometimes, and
the center referee is
he will overrule.
They got the call right.
It looked like the right call.
Redding and Almeida, ball out of bounds, and here's another throw in coming. Lincoln takes it. The turn, ball crossed, trying to get inside position was Lincoln's Delaney Maxell, and it's a wade out of harm's way by Burrillville and distributed out of bounds by Abdallah. Yes, the game, Mike, I think the weather was at its worst when the teams were in their halftime huddles, which is in some ways fortunate.
I think in many ways, in particular with that rain going away now. I mean, the field is still slick, but at least the field was in good condition coming into today's game.
Haley Jerry battling near side with Dorado out of bounds. Liberty turns it over. Centering pass. Ball punched ahead for Ross. She turns, good ball, just didn't get through. Well stuck by Fernandez. Ross on the ball. Looks to send it far over to Antonello, but didn't get it through. Burrillville will again get a throw in.
Yeah, the right idea twice there from Ross, just unable to execute and trying to keep that ball moving to the far side.
Ross and Fernandez chasing the ball down. Fernandez turns, knocks it up the flank. Antonello the cross off of a Lion, and a Burrillville throw coming.
Yeah, getting in the way was Emma Abdallah, senior defender.
It's tossed in, knocked away by Cristo. Stepping up collision with Libby. But Lions come up with the ball. They're trying to set it back for Reading, perhaps. Instead, it comes through, and here comes Lincoln. The charge upfield by Elizabeth Young. Keeble comes out. The ball's still loose, and a wade by Van Putten. That's the type of play, Mike, you want to see out of your goaltender. To make it perfect, though, she's got to catch the ball.
Yeah, I mean, a great counterattack that time, led out by Elizabeth Young, making a play in on it. And, again, credit Keeble coming off the line, making life difficult, but it was just a tough last touch by Young, which was a little bit too far in front of her, and that allowed Keeble to at least get a piece of the ball and Van Putten to clear.
Ball turned out toward midfield. Maxell and Messier on that far side. They've been doing battle all game long as we're about 15 minutes gone here. Second half, Burrillville getting the equalizer 7 minutes into the half. Ross turns, and it's going to skip through Ballon. Here comes Christo for Lincoln. She'll turn on the ball. Plays it out of bounds. I think she felt Liberty coming.
Yeah, I mean, just trying to make that safe play again. Might have had a little bit more of an angle to play it up the line further, but instead it'll just be a throw-in for the Broncos.
Ball thrown in for Ross. The end line, the touchback, the cross. Does it get through? It's underneath. And over for Antonello. She turns the shot. The score! Antonello from Libby and Burrillville has taken the lead 2-1 with a 56-minute goal, Mike. What a strike.
Oh, Catherine Antonello, the junior midfielder, picks up goal number 16 on the season. Again, past the outstretched arms of Iosifano. And
Iosifano, Mike, she needs a hug. I just saw Christo turn around and say, you got to get up. The freshman goaltender is, look, she's pretty upset.
It's tough, Mike, as, you know, she's in decent position, but sometimes if you're just not big enough, you know, it's going to go past your outstretched arms. You got to feel for her, but still plenty of time left. This is a Lincoln team that has a knack for finding the back of the net. They're going to have to pull out some of their best stuff here in the final 24.5 minutes to climb back in. We knew that it was going to be a challenge to hold on to that 1-0 lead.
Well, and now they're going to do it into the wind, and truthfully, to negotiate that is a challenge. We've seen that all weekend long. Moreover, you know, Iosifano, like I said, is emotionally a little bit shaken, and so this is where if you're Burrillville, you got to be like sharks smelling blood, and they'll distribute to Antonello, who just scored a couple minutes back. Fernandez the turn. 2 shots on goal in this half, both of them finding the back of the net for Burrillville. This is where if you're Lincoln, you almost want the best thing that could happen would be a save. You know, truthfully, that's what she needs right now is a save.
Yeah, this is where you kind of wish you had a timeout if you're the coach, you know, just to kind of gather your team back in, tell them, hey, you're unbeaten this. You know, we could do this, but, you know, without having that luxury, you got to rely on your leadership on the field. And for Lincoln, you know, when you're down one of your captains, your senior goaltender, and you got a freshman back there, it just becomes that much more difficult.
Ball is punched up in the air. It's going to head over Christo. Here comes Ross. Iosifano the piece. Second shot by Ross is stuck by Christo. Play on called. Ross went down. The ball comes out, and it'll be turned to the near flank. The touchback by Burrillville comes to Liberty, who tried to chest trap it down, and it's turned out.
Well, that was a huge play, Mike, by Lauren Christo, able to stuff Ross as she looked to be behind Iosifano.
She was coming from an offside position. There was Ross. She had fallen down, was fixing her sock. Play continued.
Yeah, can't worry about your sock. You know, wait for the ball to go out of bounds. I saw another player do it earlier in the game. I was going to say something, but, you know, it didn't really matter at that point. But, yeah, you can't worry about your socks in that situation.
No. Ball punched over the top by Van Putten, and it's picked up by Iosifano. Quickly punts it back into play.
Yeah, I'd like to see her take maybe an extra beat or two and just kind of settle it, make sure everyone's in position and expecting that kick. Kind of works out, fortunately, for the Lions in that situation, but eventually played out of bounds for a goal kick as Delaney Maxell sends it over the end line.
She's looking over her shoulder at the scoreboard. And, you know, there's a lot of pressure on a freshman goaltender. You go from probably playing the bulk of your time at the JV level to stepping into a starting role. in the midst of the playoffs for a senior who's no doubt all division.
Right. I mean, it's not an easy position for anyone. And if you're, the other players on the team, you got to find a way to try to rally around her and, give her some confidence back. You can't be dejected out there. Yes, there were two really nice goals out of the Broncos. I mean, nothing really Iosifano's fault. They were just really well-placed shots.
No, the first one, there was absolutely nothing she could do. And the second one, it looked like she had a good read on it, and it just bounced past and in.
Yeah, I mean, again, just two perfectly placed shots out of the Broncos. And, if you're the defense, just don't allow those shots. Try to get a little bit tighter on these Bronco forwards.
Well, as you and I have seen over the years, sometimes goaltenders end up on a little bit of an island. Jerry, near side, as the Lions on the attack for the first time in some time, to be truthful. Walks the tightrope on the end line. That one deflects in. Nope, it's out of bounds, goal kick.
Yeah, it might have been over the end line either way.
We'll take a timeout with about 21 and a half minutes to play here, second half. Burrillville has opened up a 2-1 lead with two second-half goals on Lincoln alongside Mike Mancuso and our entire Cox Sports team. I'm Mike Rubin. Great to have you on board with us. Burrillville with goals from Ross and Antonello here. I'm sorry, from Libby and Antonello. Antonello trying to track that ball down from Libby. It was a well-played ball. Here's the cross. It sails up and in! 3-1!
Antonello again with the left foot. Just able to get the loft over Iosifano. And Burrillville takes a commanding 3-1 lead on the second goal of the day by Catherine Antonello.
It looked like she was setting up for a cross, Mike, and we said negotiating the breeze was going to be a challenge. That one just seemed to catch up and sail in, and much to the delight of the Burrillville faithful, the Broncos have a 3-1 lead.
Yeah, and, they really need to strike quickly here now. They got to find a way to get a goal, or this one could spiral even further out of control, as Burrillville definitely feeling it right now, and just continuing to go on the attack. And I'm not sure if they have another netminder on their roster.
They don't.
They don't, so it's going to be Iosifano no matter what, unless they put a field player out there. So tough spot for Lincoln to be in.
Well, that was that last play. Again, it kind of seemed to sail, and then blew into that upper 90.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, though, you got to be able to adjust for that wind. You know what's coming. You know those lofting crosses or shots are going to be dangerous, and you got to be able to position yourself. But, still a lot of pressure and a tough spot to put a freshman.
20 minutes to play as we are at the midpoint of half number 2. Burrillville has answered with 3 straight. Mike, let's be honest, 5 minutes into this second half, we weren't expecting this.
Well, I mean, like we said, Burrillville came out extremely flat to begin this second half, and Lincoln was really trying to get that insurance goal, at least go up 2-0, and Burrillville did their continual bend, not break, and then they were finally able to turn it around on the initial goal by Victoria Libby, and since then they've really controlled play here despite the wind starting to die down a little bit and the rain going away.
The drive by Victoria Libby deflected out. Almeida turns it over, now gets a head on it. Touchback by Dorado and distributed to the near side. Here comes Elizabeth Young, steps over the ball. Blais had gotten back for Burrillville. The stick there by Caitlin Libby. Corner kick coming for the Lions.
And again, Blais, that great recovery speed, able to get in the way of Elizabeth Young. Did wind up being a corner kick for the Lions as Jerry will set it up this time.
Here comes the corner. Curls toward the end line, is going to be distributed back out, and Liberty back. Dorado aways it. Settled in the midfield by Cristo of Lincoln. The Lions are all offsides. It's not going to matter. Keeble has the ball.
Yeah, kind of surprised the flag didn't go up that time. It did seem like there was a...
Oh, you know what? Blais was back.
All the way back.
Blais was all the way back.
And that's one player. She's a little shaken up, and that's someone that Burrillville can't afford to lose. Clock will stop with 18:24 as Blais is going to have to head off the field. Not exactly sure what happened to her, but she has played some fantastic soccer back there in the center back position for the Broncos. We'll see if the Lions could take advantage. Not sure what exactly happened to her. She made a great play on the corner kick, had the initial clearance out of the box. Didn't really track her for the rest of that play, but she is on the bench now and being attended to by the trainer. Looking to slip back in the defensive line there is Liberty.
Ball turned to the near side and kicked upfield, but
Or
that's
technically,
off.
excuse me, I think it's actually Caitlin Libby.
Yep.
Who's in the center back position now.
Yeah,
Trap continuing the work.
Yeah, the Lincoln fans arguing that wasn't off, but it was off.
Yeah.
18 minutes to play here in the second half. Here comes the kick by Almeida and
again,
headed out of bounds by Jerry.
And you can't discount the coaching move by Amy Cardone to play this offside trap. You know, you're taking on a team that has great speed up top. They're going to try to play those through balls or dump things over you. You continually keep them off sides. Great move for the Broncos.
Great 1-2 executed. Here comes Liberty. She strikes. It sails up and over. And the subs will check in as the goal kick will await. Maxell, I believe, checking back in for Lincoln as Brooke Morris heads off. They've had that steady rotation on the flank. 3-1, Mike. Yes, they play the offside trap, and you've got some inexperience in back, but at some point when you're down by 2, I think you got to make the change. Sometimes you see teams go to 3-4 strikers. As here comes Ross, the drive, the score! 4-1 is Ross. Tacks one on for Burrillville.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be all day long. Those shots are going to be available, Mike. And again, you just got to feel bad for Iosifano. Really, literally nothing she can do on these long-range bombs as Ross picks up goal number 21 of the season, her third of the playoffs, and Burrillville is just rolling.
The Broncos have struck for 4. By comparison, folks, Lincoln had allowed just 8 goals all year coming into this game.
And that's 4 in 23 minutes. We've still got almost half of the second half to go.
They're going to get a foul against the Lions, and you saw Rhea there, Mike. You feel for the kid.
Yeah, it's just...
Your heart breaks for her, that's for sure.
Certainly does, and, credit Burrillville. Down a goal after the break.
We can feel bad. The Lincoln fans can feel bad, and even some of our viewers can feel bad, but Burrillville cannot.
No, and, they're going to continue to do what they need to do. We said that was going to be the key to the second half. The most key player was going to be Iosifano, and whether or not she could weather these shots that you knew were going to be coming, especially with the wind, although that has almost certainly died down now. The flag's almost standing still, much to the delight of the fans. But, credit the Broncos. They took advantage of the situation that was presented in front of them, and, they have come through with 4 goals to open up this second half.
Ball stays inbounds. Fernandez on the far side for Lincoln, cuts back. And we were talking yesterday to Coach Pereira of the LaSalle boys, and he said, it's not like you get a best of 3 in this. You only get 1 shot. It's not the hockey series where if you lose the first game, you got a shot. That's going to be onside. The last player back was Almeida. And the drive and the wide, as I think Keeble did get a hand on it. It was Maya LaFleur coming through, and she pulled the trigger from the top of the 18, Mike. I think she felt the defender coming.
Yeah, but she really just slowed down, Mike. She's got to take that one into the 18 and make something happen, make Keeble come off her line and just kind of, touch it by her. Don't settle for a shot outside the 18 when you're on a breakaway.
That ball headed wide again by LaFleur.
And this is the most goals that Lincoln has allowed on the season. Previously, 3 was the most in a 3-3 tie with Classical. So the 4 goals allowed.
That was a while back, wasn't it?
Yeah, that the Classical tie was back
October
on
11th.
Yeah, about a month ago.
Yeah. Our score here, 4-1, as we're inside the final 15 minutes of the Division II final. Lincoln struck first. The 38th, 39th minute goal. Centering pass, LaFleur turns. The drive is blocked by Blais, who's back in the match.
Yeah, and it shows you just how key she is back there, is that speed to be able to recover, was able to move laterally and deny that attempt from Maya LaFleur.
So Haley Jerry had the goal, and, you think about those first couple of minutes of the second half when Lincoln came out with all the momentum, spent the first 4 or 5 minutes on the attack, came up empty. 7 minutes in, the equalizer. 5 minutes later, a 2-1 Burrillville lead. And since then, they've tacked on 2 more. And again, the wind, which was a factor, seems to just be gusting now, occasionally still left to right. Blais, the last player back, punches it out, and almost certainly we're going to see Lincoln move to 3-4 forward set as Cristo turns it over, but that'll leave you more prone to giving up shots in back as the ball turns to the near side for Jerry. She cuts back, has some room with Blais in front of her, takes a step, gets through, has some support, but Blais on the recovery. Great return.
Wow, again, just you can't understate the speed that Blais has back there, the center of the defense for the Broncos.
Not just the speed, Mike. You're just watching her. As soon as she kicked that ball away, she starts barking out orders. She's the quarterback.
Yeah, she's the quarterback of the defense. She's leading this offside trap and continues to do a great job as that pass a little bit too far ahead of Antonello.
Again, Iosifano very quickly punting it right to Ross. This is about the range from where she scored. She chips it ahead for Antonello, who has 2 goals in this one. Fernandez is back.
Yeah, Antonello a little bit too gassed after making a couple of long-distance sprints up and down that sideline. And it was the right play by Ross, but tough when Antonello had just finished those sprints.
Burrillville with a little bit of an Iron Man look to them. They've really gone maybe 12 players deep in this one, maybe 13. Lincoln has played 14 or 15 different players, but certainly you can relax a little bit if you're Burrillville with the 4-1 lead. The drive by Liberty is in, and took a tough skip there off the grass, didn't it?
Well, again, it's still a little bit slick from the rain that fell earlier today, and you might as well keep peppering the net.
Jerry has it turn over. Lincoln now combating the clock as well. 12 minutes and change to play. 4-1 Bronco lead. Neither of these teams had ever won a Division II championship. They ensured that that would change today here at Rhode Island College, which has been a very gracious host, not just to soccer championships, but so many other interscholastic league events over the years under the leadership of this athletic department. Don Tencher has really been a great host to a number of athletic events for us here as the ball is played up the flank. The turn is stuck again by Blais. Out of bounds.
And I mean, despite not having a goal in this game, you could almost make a bid for the case of Blais as an MVP. I mean, certainly would be a defensive MVP of this championship game.
It's been a fairly complete effort, I think, from Burrillville, and I honestly, you talk about being able to string together 80 minutes. They were able to weather the 4 to 6 minutes they didn't play particularly well. I don't think their coaching staff would watch the film of this and say, you know, we played 80 full minutes. Very few coaches do, but they put together a pretty efficient match here today overall with still under 11 to play. Again, Lincoln starting to run low on time as the turn comes upfield for Liberty. She tries to play it through. It goes past Cristo. Iosifano on the ball.
Well, and I think also mentally, Mike, at this point, I mean, you're down 4-1. You've only got about 10 minutes left, and it's just not a great spot to be in.
It doesn't feel very good. Collision in midfield. It's sent over the top by LaFleur. Blais turns, distributes out to the flank. It's greeted by Antonello. Had Libby, decided to kick it out toward midfield, where Abdallah plays it back up. And off the flank, Maxell centering pass. Turned by Blais. And a nice step by the Lions. The play in front, and Keeble drives down on it.
Yeah, it was a good second effort there by the Lions to keep that one rolling on the far side, but Keeble up to the task, able to snag that cross.
Throws it in. It glances off of Abdallah. Stays alive on the flank. Out of bounds off Messier. So we're down inside 9.5 to play here in half number 2. Burrillville, who got here beating Pilgrim in the semifinals.
3-1 win.
Prior to that, I believe, was a win over Westerly.
Yep, 6-0 shellacking of Westerly. So it's been a pretty productive offensive tournament for Burrillville as they now have 13 goals in the 3 games after having a first-round bye.
Ross for Dorado. Plays it back, looking for Ross on the give and go. Out toward midfield and the turn. Here's the ball for Jerry, left side. Could you keep it alive? She does. Tracked back by Almeida. Working forward comes Jerry, but here comes Blais.
Yep, Blais there once again. Really the thorn in the side of the Lions today. Under 9 minutes to play, second half.
Couple subs coming in for Lincoln as Maxell checks out. Ball thrown in. One deflected off Liberty. It'll be a Lincoln throw. Played by Gannon. The throw in. Bounces. Blais is back. Good attack here by Elizabeth Young, but she runs out of room. Throw in for the Broncos. Turn. And the step by Liberty. She turns with Ross. Has a player to her right. Maybe held it too long. She had Angela Cardone running with her to the right. Now Liberty will throw it in over the head of Cardone. Cardone on the ball. Look to center for Ross. It comes to Liberty. Liberty stepping up. Top of the 18. Drives the shot wide. Here comes Antonello. Keeps it alive, and that should be a goal kick. It looked like it crossed out.
Yeah, it certainly did cross that end line over there, but not a bad idea. Again, putting it across through the 6, out of the reach of Iasafano, and Antonello nearly able to get it before it trailed out of bounds.
Goal kick comes to Ross and is banged out by Abdallah, slowing up this counterattack from the Broncos. 7 minutes left here, second half, 4-1 Burrillville. Goals from Ross, 2 from Antonello, and 1 from Victoria Libby. She had the equalizer. Antonello then put a pair in, one of which looked like it was going to be a cross, but sailed into the net. And then Ross, the bomb from about 30 yards out. Fernandez cuts back on Libby. Out across center. Van Putten with the step. Ahead for Libby. Plays it up the flank. Can Antonello get there? She's a little burst of speed. Drives it around Cristo and over the top.
Yeah, another good shot there from Antonello. Able to get just enough space to get the shot off. Had to go with the one-timer as a couple of defenders closing in on her. But with just over 6 minutes remaining here in the second half. Sun setting in Providence, and sun also setting on the seasons of these two teams.
The cross off a foot and the corner kick coming for Burrillville. They continue to wait for a ball. And now they'll have it. And both teams seem fairly resigned to the disappointment or the celebration that will come in a little more than 5 minutes' time.
We await the kick from the far side. Victoria Libby, senior captain, trying to connect with Liberty. Has it glance off of her foot to the far side. And trails out of bounds for another Broncos throw.
Tossed up, Antonello chips it forward. Ross making a run. Iasafano comes out, and she'll scoop it up.
Now the time where she really does need to get it back in play, but a little bit of a short punt handled by Jerry, but punched right back by the Broncos. Here is Ross.
Ross was coming from an offside position. It's the right call, and it'll be a restart for Lincoln as now the sun's setting, but turning into a nice little evening here in Providence. We've weathered the proverbial storm with 4.5 minutes to play. On the flank comes Fernandez. Tried to chip it forward. Had a ball for Redding. Back for Fernandez. Continues to take space on the flank. Working around Messier. And out of bounds for a Lincoln throw-in. Story of this one has been the range and accuracy of the Burrillville shooting gallery in about 12 minutes of game time. It was about
they were opportunistic and made the most of their chances.
Ball bouncing around in midfield. Turned back by Ross. Ahead for Libby. The 1-2 for Antonello. She's a goal away from a hat trick. Decides to drive one forward. I think she was looking for that hat trick, but Iosifano there for the save.
Maybe a little too ambitious that time.
She punts it right to Dorado. Bounces off Christo and turned out of bounds by Megan Chatowski. A throw in coming for the Broncos. Liberty stepping in, as is Cardone. The throw in. Liberty the cross off Christo. Almeida the step. She's fouled as she was tripped up by Elizabeth Young. A restart coming for Burrillville with about 3 minutes left.
And another dangerous spot for a free kick here. Is this one about 25 yards out?
Libby's going to
now
take
they're going to move it back further, but maybe to that 25 to 30 yard range. And Libby, who does have that kind of range, we'll see if the Broncos decide to crash the net here and make life even more miserable for Iosifano.
It plays right into the wall, which held, and it caught Elizabeth Young right in the stomach.
Yeah, that one can't feel good. Yeah.
Especially in the cold.
A different kind of kick than I was expecting. I would have expected more of a lofting kick that you knew was going to clear the wall, not one where you drill it.
I'm hoping that it was a mishit.
Either way, it can't feel good on the stomach of Elizabeth Young, who absorbed that one pretty much straight on.
And it's awayed by Lincoln. Van Putten, middle of the field. It'll be turned and moved. Here comes Jerry. Has a player running with her. Blais steps in front of Jerry and plays it toward the corner. Keeps it alive for a throw-in. Well, Jerry was running with Young. Mike probably should have distributed it.
Well, yeah, I mean, she's proven over and over that she's not going to be able to beat Blais in a foot race today. And certainly Blais not letting her do it that time. As we are under 2 minutes to play, the official time now kept by our head official, Rex Morris, on the field.
Jerry curls one up toward the goal. Keeble punches it down. Libby turns, mishit the first touch, but the second one is awayed. It bounces past Serena Ballin, who lets it run, and will have a throw-in for Lincoln. They toss it up the near side. Jerry gets squished between a couple of Broncos inadvertently. She's feeling that one. It's going to break through. Ross has one player to beat. That's Chatowski back. Ross to the near side. She turns the shot. Iosifano the save.
And able to grab that rebound now. Trying to rush up to the top of the box to get this one back in play.
She chips it ahead. It bounces over ahead. Liberty battles with Gannon. On the foot of Blais, she simply knocks it upfield. It's past Chatowski, and Iosifano out to her right. Again, keeping an eye on the center referee, and then the Burrillville bench, which is going to explode in joy in about a minute's time. Chatowski up the far side. That's Gannon. The turn. And up that far side came Antonello. Ball still alive. Fernandez for Lincoln. The stick by Libby. Chips it ahead. Again, just trying to play it to the corner. It's going to just run for a goal kick. And the center referee keeping the official time. He's checking his clock. Here comes the goal kick out from Christo. Settled down, Liberty walking in, lost the handle, Awade, and that's it. 4-1 Burrillville, and the Broncos will win the first ever state championship in school history.
A third time the charm for the Broncos, previously losing twice in the championship game in Division II, but that's not the case today, as they are your 2013 Rhode Island Interscholastic League Girls Soccer Division II champions.
The Broncos celebrate. The Lions will see their season end in disappointment as they will walk off You know, they had a terrific year. You see them walking off there, Mike. They're trying to pick up the spirits of their freshman goaltender, and you admire them for that. It takes a team to win. It takes a team to lose. And unfortunately for today, the Cards were on the side of that team right there, the Burrillville Broncos. 4 second-half goals, a come-from-behind victory, and Burrillville wins the title.
Yeah, just a great overall game for the Broncos. They did what they needed to do and were able to respond after falling down 1-0 with 4 second-half goals to take home the title back up to Burrillville.
We'll head off for a second. We'll be back here with our post-game coverage. Burrillville 4, Lincoln 1, the Broncos, Division II champs, and we're back after this with more here on Cox Sports. And we're wrapping things up here from the campus of Rhode Island College. Alongside Mike Mancuso, I'm Mike Rubin. Final score, Burrillville 4, Lincoln 1. A great second half for the Broncos, Mike, as they went down 1-0. Haley Jerry, the goal for Lincoln, but in the second half, 4 goals in about 17 minutes time, and that's all the Broncos needed.
Yeah, Victoria Libby getting things started, followed by a pair of goals from Catherine Antonello and Taylor Ross, one of the senior captains, really capping off the game with a brilliant strike from long range, and as they were able to play to their strengths and to the weaknesses of the Lions there in the second half, using a little bit of the wind and a little bit of a size disadvantage in between the pipes for the Lions.
So that does it for our coverage from here at Rhode Island College. Burrillville winning the Division II title 4-1 over Lincoln. For our entire Cox Sports team and my broadcast partner, Mike Mancuso, I'm Mike Rubin saying so long from Rhode Island College, Burrillville, the Division II champs. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.